Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. The Bulls taking on the Ospreys. Now, last week was not a week that the South African sides will want to remember, but this game and this week is now redemption for these SA sides. We already saw the Sharks get themselves a win up against the Scarlets yesterday. Can the Bulls, Lions and Stormers all back it up with big performances here? Looking through at the way that the table sits, as we are currently up to the 15th round now, or at least the 14th, of the URC season. It's going to be an interesting one. The Leinster side sitting at the top of the bunch, but they may end up losing their game later on to the Stormers, which would close the gap between 1st and 8th place. But looking through, definitely in this game, the Bulls want to get themselves a victory that would bump them up ahead of Munster, but the Ospreys, looking in particular at them, they are just outside of that top 8, and after a great performance last week, they will want to back it up with another great one here. Looking through at the Bulls starting lineup, it is going to be Gerhard Stennekamp, Johan Grobela, and Wilco Low as the front row. Rowan Vermaak, as well as Reniard Ludwig, will be the locking duo. Nassim Carr, Elric Low, and Cameron Hanekom to slot in as the number 8. Ambrose Papier with Chris Smith as the 19 combo. Harold Foster and David Creel in the midfield. Then quickly Arunsa out on one wing. Kanan Moody actually moves out to the other. We talked about it last week, whether or not putting him at outside centre for that game was the best choice up against Munster. They've made the adjustment now, and I think that this is where we're going to see Kanan Moody actually find a little bit more success. And then Villy LaRue slotting in at number 15 to close out the starting lineup for the home side. The Bulls looking through at the Ospreys. It is going to be in the front row. Gareth Thomas, Sam Parry, as well as Reece Henry. Adam Beard starts in this game rather than coming off the bench like he did in the last contest. And then Sutton slotting in as the number 5. Morse, Tipperick and Morris as the loose forward trio. Davis and Walsh. Now, I felt like Jack Walsh last game, he was under pressure. They had the early injury at 10, but he came into the starting lineup from there and really seemed to have an impact. So I assume this game will be no difference. In the midfield, it is Williams and Watkin. Then Giles, Morgan and Nagy will be the back 3 for the Ospreys. In the chat we have got hi everyone, says 123 MS. I hope all South African teams are well this weekend, and hopefully they do well, says 123 MS. And yeah, if the Sharks game is anything to go off, you'd assume that the SA sides are starting to find a little bit of their rhythm here. Definitely because it was actually the home games for some of these SA sides that they weren't able to get themselves the victory. Just looking through at what happened in the Bulls last game, they were defeated by Munster, 27 points to 22. Not many people saw that one coming, definitely because the Bulls, they went with a weaker side for the Champions Cup quarter-final up against the Northampton Saints, as you can see there, getting defeated 59 points to 22. But the point of doing that was to win this game and this one here up against the Ospreys. But so far, they are 0 from 2 in their overall plan. They have to make it 1 from 3 here. Let's see whether or not they can beat this Ospreys side. But their game before that, of course, a very successful game, 59 points to 19 up against Lyon. Whereas for the Ospreys, they pulled off a victory of their own, and some would even call it a bigger victory than Munster beating the Bulls. Ospreys defeating the Stormers 27 points to 21. They just look like the better side out there on the field. The Stormers fought hard at times, and they kept it close. But in the end, the Ospreys, the away side, getting themselves a big win. And at South Africa, before that, they did actually lose their quarterfinal game up against Gloucester. So their eyes are firmly set on this URC competition now. They have to make sure they get back into the top 8 by the end of the round. But of course, that is easier said than done. Definitely when you have got such tough opposition across from you in the South African side. The Bulls are going to hammer the Ospreys by 30 plus points. I mean, can they do it? Yes. Is it going to happen though? Well, the way that the Ospreys played last week, you'd have to say maybe it's going to be closer than some people are anticipating. Now, the overall odds for this game, they are not close. The Ospreys are considered as $8.50 underdogs for this contest, which is fair enough. At the end of the day, the Bulls should have learned from what they did wrong in their last contest where they lost to Munster. They're up against a lower ranked side here in the Ospreys, and I still think that they should be able to get themselves a victory here. But it's just intriguing, you know, with the fact that they did suffer that defeat. Now it's all about seeing how they can fire back. The Ospreys going to be in that away kit once again. Their team that trying to fire them up as they make their way onto the field. The man leading out, Luke Morgan. He had a fantastic game last week. It's going to be his 100th cap for the Ospreys. And this contest up says, dry time down under. Welcome in, Amelia. Hope you are keeping well. Hope you enjoyed some of the Super Rugby. I know that you wouldn't have enjoyed the result that we saw in the matchup between the Rebels and the Crusaders, but overall, I hope you did enjoy the weekend of Super Rugby. That last game between the Blues and the Reds, of course, a very hard one to be able to predict, whereas Isaac somehow got it bang on, saying the Blues will win by 7. Much better at the predictions than myself. The altitude are going to drain their lungs out, says Mornay Lagrange. It's what we said about Munster last week. So we have to make sure that before we get too, I guess, content with a victory here for the Bulls, we have to wait to see whether or not they are ready to put in those hard yards, ready to fire up and ready to take down this Ospreys side, which is just a weird thing to say, seeing as normally it's an easy game at the office. We have to wait and see here, though, whether or not the Bulls are going to be firing. And hi, says Beds Blaze, welcome in. Ospreys winning form continues tonight. Says Blues, Nate, I donated blood yesterday. Says Amelia, well, hopefully it went smoothly for you. They take quite a bit, don't they, when you do donate? But hopefully you're feeling all right after it. And I hope you are doing well. Says Beds Blaze. They're running out onto the field now at Loftus. They've got the home field advantage. They've just said that the crowd are slightly sheepish about what to expect from this performance. But that's the thing. Up against Munster, I don't think the Bulls necessarily played terrible. They had some moments where they were a little bit shaky, and they also had that yellow card that turned into a red card for Johan Hussen. And that changed the momentum of the game quite a bit as well, although there were a lot of handling errors for the Bulls that I think definitely changed the way that the match progressed. But now, this is up against the Ospreys, whole different side in front of them, whole different task. See whether or not they can get the job done. But the VODACOM Bulls, they currently sit inside of that top 4, which would mean at the quarterfinals, they would have a home field advantage. The question is that the way that it's going to stay? But Munster, they are in action next. They'll be going head-to-head with the Lions. Then later on tonight, we are going to have the game between the Stormers and Leinster. But this game now underway, ladies and gentlemen. We have currently in New Zealand only got the... Oh, there we go. Pitch has caught up. We only had the commentary for a little bit of a second. I got free snacks after, so... Well, I guess a worthy payoff in some regards. You get something for them. They give you something in return. Billy LaRue going for a little chip in behind. Early on, the Ospreys did retain the kickoff, but then opting to kick it downfield, which then gave the possession straight into the hands of the VODACOM Bulls. I'm back with the Ospreys inside of their 22 now. Hanging on to this ball. I'm going to roll this one back for the Ospreys. It will be Luke Davis. Got some very handy options in this back line. Nagy, I thought, had a fantastic game last week up against the Stormers. That is not a great take from Billy LaRue, and the knock-ons will continue for the Bulls compared with last week. And I'll get a text message. Text me when my blood is being used. Says right down under. So that's pretty cool that they give you that notification. That is going to be the penalty going the way of the Bulls. The advantage for the knock-on was over. So it now means that the Bulls have the opportunity to take an early 3 if they want it. Now, of course, having Chris Smith as the starting 10 for this matchup, that is due to Johan Hussen's red card in the last match. Something that they couldn't really afford to have, but those handling errors beforehand, of course, also cost the Bulls. And they are kicking for the corner here. They don't want 3-pointers. They want to try and really up the tempo and try and get themselves some 7-pointers and a bonus point on the board from this game. Great work in the breakdown from Johan Krubela. Got straight over the ball. Now, at the time that he made his way off the field in the last game for the Bulls, their line-out also started to crumble that little bit. It's going to be looking relatively strong here for the Bulls, who have been told to use it once. Slowly marching forward. 10 metres out from the line at the moment. I've got a doctor's appointment for my thumb and my foot. See his pads ablaze. It's quite awkward, isn't it, in some regards? Your thumb and your foot, that's close. Was that knocked on by the Bulls? Yes, it was. Because you're in that scenario how, like, of course, you need your hands and you need your feet. So hopefully both of them recover. For Paddy. Good evening, says DJ Shack. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. This is the first of 3 URC contests that we are going to be covering on the channel. The next one, Lions versus Munster, that starts directly after this game. And then the one after that is going to be Leinster versus the Stormers. That is directly after that as well. So it's pretty much just flat out rugby for the next 6.5 or so hours. We are going to be live on the channel the whole way through. So if you are new and you are enjoying, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But like I just said, we're 10 minutes into a 6.5 hour pretty much stream-a-thon that we're going to be doing for the URC. I've got my drink bottle next to me, although that's probably going to be running low by the end, plus it's both on the left side. Would you prefer that though, or both on the mix and match? I feel like you prefer both on the same side just for the sake of remembering that's the side that's hurt, if that makes sense. Now, ball's going to be available for the Ospreys off the back of their scrum using Morgan Morris, another man. Did relatively well in last week's game. Interesting that they haven't gone with Morgan Morris or Morgan Williams, I believe it was. The man who was playing halfback last week did pretty well. The needle was a bit big, but it was cool seeing my blood knowing it's going to help someone. Says Amelia. So what picture did you put on Discord out of curiosity, Amelia? Is it the bag of blood? Because I feel like I don't really want to look at that. No offense. Like if it's like the text message, yep. But a bag of blood, maybe not so keen. It works out for me since I'm right-handed. Says Beds Ablaze now offload from Moody. Just a little bit forward to Villiers LaRue, and it is going to be another knock-on, or another scrum here for the Ospreys. Of me in the chair. Okay, well that's not too bad then. We can have a look at that. One more. We go like this. And yeah. Did you get to keep that little squishy toy they gave you, or did they give it away? Or not give it away, but keep it for themselves? And that one. Now, Ospreys going to have another scrum. And I actually mentioned about it last week, and I think the commentators are just brushing upon it here. It was all well and good with that last week's game being at altitude, but the problem that they suffered for the Bulls was the fact that because of all the stoppages, because of the knock-ons, because of the forward passes, it actually allowed every time that the Bulls wanted to take Munster into deep water, Munster were able to catch their breath. And they didn't have to really get fatigued throughout that 80 minutes. I feel like that's something that they would have looked at throughout the week, and they would have said, right, we have to try and take the Ospreys into deep water. I didn't get to keep it, sadly. It looked like a cool little squishy toy, to be fair. And let's go, Kiwi lads. Thanks for the commentary, Amish. Says Blues Nate. And I do want to thank you again for your donation last night, Nate. I feel like I didn't get to give you a proper thank you for it. So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify again that I am very appreciative of the fact that you were willing to donate last night. Donate? Oh, it was a donation in multiple ways. Have I said that before, Nate? I feel like I said that maybe like a year ago and I've forgotten, but donation, I feel like works quite well. Sorry, just mind running at the moment. Another scrum reset. Taking their time at the moment in the early stages. I'm going to go back in a few weeks to donate plasma. Plasma. How do you get plasma? Plasma's not the one in your bones, is it? That's something else. That's marrow. What's plasma? Do they still take your blood, or is it like skin? I can't remember what plasma is. Plasma. Now, ball about to be fed in by Luke Davis. Plasma's the stuff inside your blood. Oh, so it's like donating again, like you're going to donate blood again, but it's like they're getting something different from it, I assume, Amelia, or is it like a different process? Big push from the Bulls scrum, and they get themselves the penalty there. Nicely done. It takes a bit longer to give plasma. Says Amelia, and donate. Oh, a go-nation. That sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it? Go-nation sounds like I'm trying to start like a embassy of some sort. And let LaRue should take his pension and leave, says Outlaw. I mean, he struggled at times, but then every once in a while, Villiers LaRue is one of those performances that people go, oh, you know, he's still that same player. There's this machine that does all the work. Well, that's always good. Machine doing 90% of it. No, good Amish. To be honest, always hectic with Tony around, like Big Brother chicken in on us. You're all good, boss, says Blues Nate there. Yeah, I felt like it got brushed under the rug a little bit, but it was a substantial donation. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. I was very thankful. That's a try there for Johan Rubela. On what channel, says Abigail? For us here in New Zealand, it's on TVNZ Plus, I believe. On DSTV, someone, hopefully from South Africa, will have the right number. And first try to the Bulls, says Morna Lagrange, and it's going to be Johan Rubela, who has been able to score a great start to the match. Go the Ospreys, says Cool Story Bro. And that will be a big confidence booster for the Bulls. Definitely after, like I mentioned, those couple early handling errors, spoiling the Bulls from Villiers-Dorp. Hopefully I said that correctly, Zano, but thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, good power shown by the Bulls forward pack. Just continuing to march forward now, to be honest. Doesn't bother me. Keep going, Hamish. Says Blues, Nate. Yeah, fantastic try scored by Johan Rubela. Bulls, their persistence of going for the corner has worked out. They turned down, I believe it is now, 2 easy threes that they could have taken. Snack choices were good. They have meat pies and sausage rolls and vegan options and salty snacks, chocolate milk, coffee flavoured milk. Wait, coffee flavoured milk? Oh, nice. Strawberry milk, apple and orange juice. Tell you what, sounds like a smorgasbord. Do enjoy myself a sausage roll. That's going to be kicked over from Chris Smith. And that is now going to make the score here 7-0 in favour of the VODACOM Bulls, the home side. Nate is a legend for real. He certainly is. He's got good taste in pies too. Crowd looking happy with what has just happened. Hopefully the scoreboard is also going to keep itself updated in the near future. It still says it's only a minute in, but we are currently sitting about 6.5 minutes through this contest, maybe even closer to 7 now. And the score is 7-0 for the Bulls. I believe last time we did a URC stream, it took 10 minutes before it kicked in on the first URC one. The Mercers made me have a party pie before going into the chair just to keep my blood sugar up. Says right on down under. Good man pies are great. Says Pads ablaze. Now, Bulls are inside of their 22, so they will have to go for the box kick here with Ambrose Papier. Kick it up nice and high. Down towards the halfway line. Moody chasing after it. Slaps it back to Elric Lowe. The ball is back available once more here. Honeycomb offloads out the back to Chris Smith. Now Forster going for the grubber in behind. Awkward bouncing one for the Ospreys fullback. Does well to be able to keep this ball in. In fact, it was Walsh actually back there that time to be able to cover, but this is a lot of pressure coming from the VODACOM Bulls here, much better than we saw in their last match. I think you are in the wrong group. Todd Rugby yes is good. No, we talk about most things good overall, and there's plenty of stoppages in this game due to the fact that the Bulls have dropped the ball about 4 times already, so it's meant that we've had a bit of a time to chat about other things as well. We have got there, hi folks, glad to see you survive the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer phase. You also sound much better, Hamish, go Bulls, says Neil. Yeah, we're doing a lot better than we were a couple of weeks ago in terms of being sick. Like I still can't taste things very well and my nose is still blocked, but other than that, we're all good at this point. Now it's going to be nicely thrown in. The Bulls now going off to the right-hand side. Chris Smith gives it away to Nassim Carr. Papier, little pop pass up there, breaking the line. Brilliant run here from Ludwig. He's got some insane pace for a lock. And now Ambrose Papier gets the pass on the outside. It's bouncing awkwardly, and Kana Moody, they've said it's gone backwards. That's the try to Kana Moody, but that looked very close to a knock-on. And yet one of the Bulls supporters even saying, have a look at that one upstairs. But the crowd already taking their shirts off, the young children. Okay. Okay, you have your medical discussion. I leave, cheers, Hamish, says Gert in there as well. I mean, like, it was only, maybe 60-second conversation of a 2-hour live stream. We've got 6 hours and a half that we are doing back to back to back. I mean, like, you can stick around, but we are every once in a while going to talk about something other than just rugby. Definitely with so many stoppages. They are checking this one on the TMO now, though. It looks like they are going over to the big screen to check whether or not this one was knocked on. The Bulls are the best team in the world, says Zano. I love your energy, Pads ablaze. Keep it up, my bro. Positive vibes. And it's going to be nicely gathered by Kana Moody, I believe. But the question is, was it gathered and then did he knock it on beforehand? Like, the grubber gather was perfect. This one here, they're going to check it. That's a knock on from Kana Moody. So that is going to be now no try. And Gert Bra, you can literally come in here and talk the most random stuff. So here's right time down under. But yeah, disallowed try for Kana Moody there. And I think that the referee on field has just said, my bad, I should have actually seen that. And that was the touch judge who was apologising, seeing as it was right next to him. Didn't spot it though. It almost gave the Bulls their second try of the contest, but it is now going to be the Ospreys to have the scrum just inside of their 20. Like I said, a few times throughout that last week's game, they did drop the ball at the most unopportune times for the Bulls. Now the Ospreys with this feed 20 metres out from their line. I feel like the best option here is to be able to just boot this ball into touch as well. And I'll go Kiwi lads, a quick backtracks for you. Says the Blues Nate, and I'm a Bull supporter. Says Zano. It's going to be fair in. I'll be rewatching the Golden Girls on Disney Plus as of late. Says right time, I have never seen it. Which I don't think will be surprising. 15 metres out. Davis going to the short side here to Hugh Sutton. Adam Baird actually going to be starting in this contest rather than coming off the bench like he did in last week's game up against the Stormers. That's not mystery science there to 3K. Let's talk scrum techniques 24/7. Says cool story, bro. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, I can understand why people want to just hear rugby, but every once in a while there's going to be a stoppage. Like, sometimes we talk about the players' boots. I don't know whether they get offended at that because it's not quite talking about the rugby ball in particular rather than something that the players have got on. And Puppy are now going to the short side, partially charged down, and it's gone straight into the hands of the Ospreys, who will now go for the kick in behind, looking for the 50-22. It's curling beautifully, and it is a 50-22 for the Ospreys. Not covered by Forster. I don't think they expected that kick to work so well up against them there, the Bulls. I'm a Bulls supporter since 7 years old. I'm 24 years old, so the Bulls forever. Says, I know, same age as myself then. And that's the case. I don't even remember what I was doing when I was 7 years old. Probably in school, I would say. Probably a good start, but other than that, I have no idea. At the moment, they don't actually have a scoreboard or the time up on the screen on the game, so I can't really tell you how far through the game we are. I believe we're about 12 minutes or so, though. The Ospreys with a nice attacking phase, giving it off to Kieran Williams, who is playing inside centre for this contest. Guys, let's get the likes and subs up. Help us grow bigger and better. You won't regret it. Great community and vibes here. Says it pads ablaze. Now Sutton again, crashing forward just that little bit further. Off to the left-hand side. Put it in behind. Beautiful link-up play to Nagy. Couldn't quite get that next pass away. Anikom, counter-ruck, but he's left his feet. So it's going to be another penalty going the way of the Ospreys. And the ill-discipline now starting to creep in a little bit for the Bulls. I've been around here for about 2 years. Says a try time down under. And also the Bulls says bystander in the chat as well. Currently 7-0 as they currently sit in this game, the Bulls. But the Ospreys will look to add 3 points rather than going for the 7. You wonder whether or not that is, like, in this case, it's the right decision. But in the long run, is it going to hurt them not trying to be that little bit more aggressive? Some deep off the cuff, down the rabbit hole topics. We're down in the final of the Rugby World Cup games to calm the nerves, says cool story, bro. And that's the thing, like, some people just enjoy, like, a general chat alongside the rugby as well. 20 seconds remaining for Jack Walsh to be able to line up this kick. Close the gap. Only the 4 points. Oh, the ball has fallen off the tee. He's still got 25 seconds. The Bulls need to focus, points to come. Now, because it was off a penalty, that means that the Bulls cannot charge that down. We actually saw that in the game between France and Italy, and it should have been a re-kick option. He's missed it away to the side now, Jack Walsh. Maybe because of just thinking about that one falling off the tee, and that will now keep the score remaining at 7-0 after the first 10 or so minutes. A good evening, says bystander. Yeah, I hope you are doing extremely well, mate. 3 games back to back to back today. I've just realised maybe Gert just didn't like the talk of, like, blood and whatnot. I kind of feel bad now if that was the case, because some people do, like, get a little bit, like, faint when talking about certain medical things. So I hope that wasn't the case, and hopefully he is all right if that is what has happened. I just had that thought. Maybe that was actually why he wanted to go away. Says I joined 8 years ago in channel activity. I don't know if it was 8 years ago. I don't think we were streaming 8 years ago. It was probably 3 years ago, somewhere around there. What's the crowd look like? It's probably about, I'd say, 40% full, maybe 50% if they are lucky. But now, Johan Rubela throws that ball in, nicely taken by Ludwig. And they will start to get this rolling ball marching forward. Rubela already has scored 1 try in this contest. Wouldn't mind himself another quick fire one here. But he's about 40 metres out from his own line rather than being about 4 metres out from the opposition's. Gros Papier is being told to use it, so he will go for the box kick here for the Bulls. Jumping up for this one, nicely taken by Giles. Davis goes across again, this time to the big man Reece Henry at tight head prop. Being told to use it. Oh, the scoreboard's just popped up, but we are 17 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. Now that it has just come back, they were having a few technical difficulties early on. Chris Smith, good take from him. And Giles manages to make the tackle. Still inside of their own half here, the Bulls. And Bros Papier goes across to Ludwig. We've already seen that if you give that man space, he can be a real handful. Kicked off the left boot of Villy LaRue. Kutli Arnsa chasing after it, but doesn't get a good leap up. And now the Ospreys will once again get that ball back. The left-hand side to Gareth Thomas. Never mind, that's when I joined. They need to add stuff like when you subbed and stuff like that. Says Bads Ablaze. I think I can see if you've got public subscriptions, although it's quite a bit of like admin to go through and try and find everyone's name. I don't think there's a search option. Instead, it just kind of puts them in order of when they subscribed. Nicely taken. Jack Walsh now from 40 metres out from his line. We'll go with the up and under. That one's an awkward bouncing one, but no one able to take it until it went to Villy LaRue. It's been wrestled down. Chris Smith inside of his 22. Another tackle made by Nagy. Just caused a little bit of a problem there for the Bulls. They were taking it too casually and almost ended up costing them the ball inside of their own 22. And then Bros Papier now rolling it back into the pocket to Villy LaRue. Looking for another chip in mind. There's plenty of open space here for Kutli Arnsa. And he slipped over. It's going back for the original penalty. I believe that is against Owen Watkin for being offside in this one. Villy LaRue, who's he arguing with? Who's he yelling at? I feel like if he was yelling at Kutli Arnsa for not being able to take that one, it'd be pretty rough overall, because I feel like he put in a decent enough effort of being able to stop it. It just bounced awkwardly and kind of sent him the wrong way. Now, it's going to be a kick towards the touchline from the Bulls. Another chance to be able to get towards that 22 of the Ospreys. Apply that early pressure. We're already a quarter of the way through this contest. Talked about it earlier on, Loftus. Of course, they've got to try and really push the pace early on. Got a good bench in play. Oh, it's knocked on from Bros Papier. That was a schoolboy error there. Off the back of the line out. No pressure on him. Just dropped it cold. Although, hang on. We got a penalty. 7 on the arm against the Ospreys. That is an extremely lucky penalty for the Bulls to be able to win. Well done, Hamish. You need to chat wider than just the game. You are keeping it interesting. Good commentary. Says Fanny. But yeah, like every once in a while, we are going to end up with a different topic scattered in there overall. And I feel like that's something that makes this unique compared to just radio-style commentary in some regards, because you still get the game, some of it, or most of it anyway, and then also you get to have the chance of being able to chat. And I think, in particular, the time that it was the most awesome I felt, of course, was during the World Cup, but also during the time when everyone was in lockdown, because most people didn't have people to talk to, but we still had like live streams going, so we were able to bring a whole heap of people together. If they just wanted to talk to someone about their day, they had that opportunity because we had the chat alongside the rugby. So, like, we made a pretty awesome community in what was, like, tough times around the world. So I feel like, you know, rugby brings us all together at the end of the day. We're all people. We all talk about things, you know. We've all got thoughts, I think. Not my cousin, though. She actually talked about the fact that she has nothing going on in her head. Like, true story. But, like, she's very smart. It's an interesting dynamic. And now, nicely taken by Elric Lowe, and Bros Papier goes back across to Chris Smith, Villy LaRue, Now passes across to Nassim Carr. Open space here for the VODACOM Bulls. Pass on the outside to Kurtley Arnsa. He had the man with him, and it's David Creel who ends up scoring it. Am I a people? You are a people. Cool story, bro. Even if you don't believe it, you are a people. But that is a fantastic try from the people on the field from the Bulls. It was a guy when I was watching my club teams play today, saying like 6 or 7 lines over and over for the whole game, plus he was so damn loud. Says Bads of Lays, but 14th try for David Creel. Now has scored more tries than the number on his back. Little bit of a fun one there for him. Of course, if a prop can score more tries than the number on his back, he'll be very happy as well. Of course, needing either more than 1 or 3, but nicely done. So tell me, Hamish, who are so smart? Who are so smart? What do you mean? Hello, gorgeous Hamish, says Rebel Rose. Welcome in. If you are keeping well, and hello, says Timothy Peterson. Welcome in as well, mate. The Bulls starting this match much better than their last contest. It seems like even in a short week, they've been able to work out a lot of what they did wrong and a lot of what they needed to be able to fix. And now you are a story bro. Says Badzer. I really wanted to tackle him, but he was an old Islander dude, so I could have broken him. Says Badzer Blows. Yeah, great pass from Kurtley Arnsa just behind David Creel. Now 14-0 for the VODACOM Bulls. The perfect start after 23 minutes. This clock's a little bit behind, but score is correct. 14 points on the board for the home side. Now looking to kick this one off. And this is a big difference for the Ospreys as well. They started that Stormers game very well. And it was kind of the Stormers who were more so chasing the game. Whereas in this one now, the Ospreys find themselves heavily chasing this one. The try by Kurtley at Twickenham. Says cool story, bro. Now we're rolling this one back. And Ross Papier to be able to use it inside of his 22. Going to be contestable. Bounces awkwardly. All the players trying to slap it back like it's a game of the AFL. Now out wide. Ospreys have got few players available if they want to use them. Looks like first Walsh is going to be playing halfback. Little short pass from Gareth Thomas. Now Davis. Going to Nagy. Oh, that's a big shot coming in from Nassim Carr and Wilco Lowe. That's like 250 kgs making a tackle on you there. Bit of a loose ball from the Ospreys, but well regathered and attack and run now from Owen Watkin. I'm sure you talked about a family member who are so smart. Yeah, so like my cousin. She's very smart. Now kicked in a touch and that one will go out. Now, chance for the Bulls inside of their own 22, so a long way to go before they get to the opposition's, of course. But already in their 2 visits to the opposition 22, they've been able to find success throughout the early stages of this contest. And they've been able to keep that tempo rolling. Like I mentioned, they want to stay at a fast-paced kind of encounter. Now, Johan Rubela. And ready to throw this ball in. Nicely taken by Ludwig. Now, Nassim Carr goes across to the big man, Cameron Honeycomb. Offload again to Ambrose Papier. The referee just say there's still advantage. I'm more a smarter. Says, cool story, bro. Ambrose Papier puts it high. Kind of moody. Chasing after this. Much better chance to take it. And he has got it beautifully. 40 metres out from the line. Papier goes across to Chris Smith. Now numbers to be able to use. Foster couldn't find his offload on the halfway line. Chris Smith, flat ball to Gerhard Stennekamp, the big loose head prop. And scrum weight, please, says Rebel Rose. I think they showed it earlier on. I want to say the Bulls had about that was taking a man out without the ball from Nassim Carr. And, yeah, they're going to go back for the penalty to the Ospreys. But, yeah, I think the Bulls had about a 30 kg advantage, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I saw when it popped up earlier on. Now looking to kick this one towards the touchline. Does get the ball out. All right, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. There we go. But yeah, just high from Nassim Carr. Like I said, it was a little bit clumsy from him, just swinging his arm across. You get the odds at the moment. Of course, the Bulls, no surprises here, are absolute favourites. heading into this contest now off to the right-hand side. Little flat pop pass up. Nicely controlled. Tuparik now goes across. Good hands from Kieran Williams. 14 minutes remaining. Short ball. Quick hands from the Ospreys, and that is a fantastic one. They will just check to see that last pass. But if it's gone backwards, that is a tremendous bit of work from the Ospreys to be able to fire straight back into this match. Oh. What are we hearing here? Has it gone backwards? Going to check it again just to make sure. And the verdict is, I think they're going to call it as a try. And after all looking up, Jake's got new boots. Says Obi. And the Bulls going to win this one. Says Yucko Adams in this one. Game too far for the Stormers. Or sorry, for the Ospreys. To be honest, their country's talking on rugby today. Although majority are dominated by soccer and other sports, Kiwi lads shining the lights, giving them a voice to be heard in all different languages. Says the Blues Nate. Now Jack Walsh, the Australian, I believe. Or is he a Kiwi? He's one of the two, I believe. We're going to underestimate the Welsh again. He's going to line up this kick and does get it over this time. So that will make the score now 14 points to 7 in favour of the VODACOM Bulls. Sekikete is going to be watching on for this game. They've just shown a few of the other Ospreys players as well watching on, eagerly awaiting to see what the end score in this contest is. But they'll be happy enough with that try from the Ospreys, just 1 point difference between these two sides here. They'll wait and see exactly how this one ends. Nicely cleared by Davis, down towards about 32 metres out, I would say. They find themselves at the moment here, the Ospreys. It is going to be the throw-in for the Bulls. And Rugby Cricket's leagues, Kiwi lads, got you covered. Says Blues now. Oh, that reminds me. I think that the game between Pakistan and New Zealand in the cricket, I believe, is actually taking place tonight. Nate, if I'm not wrong, in about an hour's time. We might have to give you guys some updates on the score in that one. But Mbroz Papia going back across to the right-hand side. Chris Smith to Foster. Kane and Moody fires it in behind. Here comes Elric Lowe. He's a hard man to stop when he's got that much speed. And he's dragged down only 7 metres out from the line. And Mbroz Papia, that's another high tackle, mate. Now this time it is against the Ospreys, going short side. Kane and Moody facing backwards. Elric Lowe considered going, but he was pushed forward by Papia, who decides he wants to use his forwards next to the breakdown. Chris Smith, good shot on him late. Well, not too late, though. Nassim Carr going on the inside. Here comes Kimbrin Hanukom. Almost got to reach out at the line. They've got options both ways. They go out wide to Kurtli Arinsa. And that'll be the third try now of the match for the Bulls. It's going to be a high-scoring contest between these two sides, it would seem. Arinsa, that is his 20th career try there for the Bulls. 30 minutes into the contest, the Bulls are really ramping it up here. Trying to stay on top of this game early on. But yeah, Pakistan-New Zealand takes place in 56 minutes' time. New Zealand actually 2-1 up in that series, which is massive for them because no one expected them to do well. And those matchups are nicely picked out. And Mbroz Papia over the top. And just one more Bulls try for the bonus point. Exactly right. They're already, like I would say, well, you can literally say 3/4 of the way towards the goal that they wanted. And hit the ball, buddy, or the buddy ball, New Zealand. Also, where's Mr. Coding Cricket Update? Says Blues Nate. I think he might be a little bit annoyed that we didn't do New Zealand versus Pakistan series. But we've had a lot of overlaps that we've covered on the channel, including, in particular this game. A couple of the other ones. That one is going to be missing away for Chris Smith. So that will keep the score after 30 minutes at 19 points to 7. Those type of tries are really ones that hurt the defence of the Ospreys and hurt the morale of the Ospreys because they did so well in terms of defending right next to their breakdown, and then you chuck it out wide and skip pass gets it straight into the hands of the flying winger, Kurtli Arinsa. Hello, Hamish, your channel has been a bonus. Not any TV where I am, says Stretch Fletcher, so I do appreciate you being here. We have got the 3 games of South African sides back to back today that we are going to be covering. The next game starting at 2:55 a.m. New Zealand time, which is an hour and 20 minutes time. So it's going to be pretty tight with when these games are taking place. But yeah, we're prepared for 6 hours of sitting here doing the commentary in a row. So yeah, hope you guys are all doing well. Yeah, blame me, Hamish. Sorry, Cody. See the Blues, Nate. It wasn't your fault. Like, I don't think he's actually annoyed. He's just probably found somewhere else to watch the games. And to be fair, with New Zealand versus Pakistan, it's actually all being live streamed on YouTube. So he's probably actually watching the games as they happen rather than listening to me talk about the games. If that makes sense. Nice flat pass to Justin Chipperick. Ball's there. Nassim Carr straight in through the side of the breakdown. Easy penalty for the referee. And so he had the choice of two. One player not rolling away and the other just flopping straight over the middle of the breakdown. Jack Walsh kicking it for the touchline. He's smart. See you, Blues, Nate. Hamish's special powers running the family. See you later, bro. See you, a cool story, bro. So we will see you later. Next game that has taken place, Lions versus Munster. Game following that will be the contest taking place between Leinster and the Stormers. That is an exciting contest on paper, but in reality, it could actually be a little bit one-sided. But who knows? If the Stormers can't fire like they have the last couple of weeks, maybe we are going to see a much closer game. Nice running forward there. Giles almost going straight through this Bulls defence. Bit of a rough pass to Walsh. He's managed to do extremely well to regather that ball. Did end up hitting his boot, so no clear knock on there. Davis back across to Sam Perry. 22 metres out from the line. Ospreys doing well on attack, and they have now got the penalty advantage for Nassim Carr. Not rolling out of that breakdown. Going to the left-hand side. Popping it in behind. Now looking to shift it over the top. Nice skip pass to Giles. Goes for the grub. He's been taken out very late from Kane and Moody there. But they're going to go back for the original advantage. I think Giles is a bit frustrated, though, that he got knocked to the side. I think Nassim Carr just asking the question, where was he supposed to go there? And to be fair, he was slightly out to the side, but I think it was where his leg was ended up hurting him a bit. Ospreys, do they want to go for the 3 points here? Or do they want to go for the 7? I think they have to go for 7 here. No, they're going for the 3. Okay, this is a big decision because they will still be down by the 9 points, which is still a pretty substantial amount of ground that they have to make up. Like they're saying, Annambia may be a culprit of trapping Nassim Carr into that breakdown. Milking the 3 points, but it's going to be effective for the Ospreys, as it will give them the 10 on the board if Walsh is able to get his conversion. Yeah, that next game between Lions and Munster, I think, will be a little bit more competitive in that contest compared to maybe what we see in that Leinster versus Stormers game. They have just shown there that Jack Walsh is Australian, but he was born in the USA. I'm about to line up this kick from 21 metres out. And that one has gone over. That will now make the score 19 points to 10 in favour of the VODACOM Bulls. Now, the scoreboard in terms of the time is about 5 minutes behind. So we are sitting 34 and a half minutes through at the moment. Someone's birthday in the stands by the looks of it. Are about to go for the kickoff here with Chris Smith. The Ospreys closing that gap. The last thing that they want here, though, is to concede a try straight off the bat to the VODACOM Bulls. Now, nicely taken inside of the 22 by Davis. Looking for the touchline. Doesn't manage to find it, though. And now Villi LaRue gets it across to Elric Lowe, who bulldozes his way through. Is dragged down in a single tackle attempt by Morgan Morse. There's a lot of Morgans in this team. Well, that's the first or the last name. Back across again, the Bulls in position. 35 metres out from the try line here. Bros Papier. It's going to be a penalty against... Oh, he's taking the quick tap on Bros Papier. Charging forward. And he's taken down 20 metres out from his line. And great turnover one by Jack Walsh. Manages to get the ball back for the Ospreys. So Bros Papier, on paper, it seemed like a good idea to take that one quickly. But in reality, he slightly isolated himself Like they've just said there as well. Maybe should have been looking for an offload there from Ambroise Papier. Okay, they're just talking about the fact that they need the players on their feet. That's actually something that the Brumbies were doing in the earlier game up against the Hurricanes. They were quite good at pretty much sealing off the ball. Now, that didn't change the result. Of course, the Hurricanes still would have probably lost that contest, but it was just the way that in each breakdown, they'd have one man join and then he'd flop over, and they were using it as a way of keeping the opposition from contesting, and we're seeing that a little bit from the Ospreys here. So the referee just saying, look, we can't have too much of that or else I'll have to penalise you for it. The way that the live table would sit, the Bulls would move up to third ahead of Munster, who have their game up against the Lions just around the corner. The Lions currently sitting in 11th, so there's a lot on the line. It's about 9 or 10 sides that could be in the top 8. In fact, 11 sides could be in the top 8 at the moment in the URC. The Cardiff Blues, a little bit too far behind. They'd have to make up 14 points with not too many weeks remaining. Like they've just said, fighting right to the end of the competition for these teams to try and get themselves a spot inside of the top 8. Glasgow recently getting themselves another win that is over Zebre. So they are going to move up for now into first place on the overall URC standings. The Bulls to win this game with a bonus point would put them up into put them up into third. And that would almost be where they sit, depending on where that Munster versus Lions game goes. But there's going to be overkicked from Ospreys, so it is now going to be Villy LaRue inside of his 22, looks for the touchline, does manage to find it with a very good kick that gets hit down towards the halfway line. 3 minutes remaining in this first half between these two sides though. Score sitting still 19 points to 10. Another line out now for the Ospreys. Try and make a few extra meters and try and bring the score a bit more closer to level by the end of the first 40. Thrown in now by Sam Parry. Not even able to get a jumper there going for the Bulls. I think that there might have been a miscommunication, but Walsh going in behind now. Watkin puts the ball on the outside to Nagy. He's got Giles with him. Doesn't use him yet. Does get dragged down by David Creel, who almost ended up getting the turnover for his side. Davis back in behind to Jack Walsh. Like I mentioned, he wasn't actually the starting 10 in the last contest. Came off the bench and really had to step up. Now off to the left-hand side. Walsh almost going through, but good tackle made from Cameron Hanukom, who was one of the leading tacklers in the Bulls last game up against Munster. Davis. Nice little step there from Kieran Williams in the midfield. 40 metres from the line now for the Ospreys. Davis goes in behind to Parry. Step from Giles. He's a long way off his wing and he started driving his legs, but he's dragged down again by some good defence of Ruan Vermaak. Ball on the outside. Chance. Interception from David Creel. It's going to be a foot race. He's got Kanan Moody with him. A fantastic finish. And Moody will get his first try now of the contest. He had one disallowed earlier, but that is now a bonus point try for the VODACOM Bulls. And that is within the first 40 minutes of the game. Talk about making a statement. After a game last week didn't go to plan, they have fired back. I mentioned that I thought that maybe they should play Kanan Moody out on the wing for their next game rather than in the centres. Surprisingly, they actually did it. And I think we've seen exactly why, because David Creel is so handy in that outside centre jersey, and Kanan Moody can score tries when he's playing at number 14. But 1 minute now remaining in this first half. I believe by the time this kick is taken, there'll be about 10 seconds remaining, depending on how quickly Chris Smith decides that he wants to take it. It looks like he's taking his time, though. No need to rush this. Use up a few of those extra minutes that you can. Right. Chris Smith. They'll line this one up. They're just talking about his insane accuracy that he's had throughout the season, but that kick has gone over. And another try coming the way, of course, of the VODACOM Bulls. And this is exactly what they wanted. At this stage of the competition as well, it is so crucial that you start to find your feet underneath you, because if you can, and you keep on building, you're going to be in a great position heading into those quarterfinals games. Now, they start a little bit down the line. We're not getting a mile away from those quarterfinals. Just to quickly look for the exact date. Although, first of all, of course, we will see this kickoff from the Ospreys. More than likely, the Bulls will just tap this one into touch and call it a half. It's going to be nicely claimed by Ludwig. Now, Ambrose Papier waiting for this ball to roll back. They put it into the pocket, and Chris Smith puts it into touch into the first 40, and it is 26 points to the 10. Now, the scoreboard's still around 5 minutes behind, but hopefully it does catch up in the near future, seeing as it is now going to be halftime. But the closest quarterfinal of this competition will go here. Quarterfinals, they are taking place on the 8th of June. So we've got April, May, June. We've got about a month and a half, maybe less than that. About a month and 10 days until the quarterfinals do get underway. And that is when those really important games and those really important points come into play. We see how close the race is at the moment between the Bulls, Munster, Glasgow, who have just got themselves a nice boost, and then Leinster will actually find themselves probably sitting second, if not a little bit lower, depending on what happens in that Munster game, and also depending on what happens. Oh, no, Munster won't win that by that much, never mind. But they still will find themselves slowly losing some of their ground if they do lose that game to the Stormers. So the Stormers, they need to do themselves a solid, and they need to do the rest of the competition a solid and help themselves get that little bit higher. But by looking at this table now, ladies and gentlemen, in the exact order that you feel they will be, who is your top 4? Do let me know. Top 8, probably very hard to predict with how close some of these sides are. I mean, you see Connacht there. They are sitting on 34 points. The Lions are sitting on 39. They've got a game to come. The Ospreys sitting 35. If they lose this game, that slowly puts them that little bit further down. Yeah, do let me know your top 4 in the exact order. Who are you going with? For myself, I honestly think that we are going to see Glasgow, Leinster, Bulls, Munster, I think, is going to be the top 4 order. So a little bit of a reshuffle and knowing actually where they are sitting at the moment is my guess of where the sides are going to end up. And go the Bulls. I stay in Sharkies territory. They have not performed this year, says Brian. Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a lackluster season for the Sharks. It was nice to see them get that win, though, over the Scarlets in their most recent game, although they had to work hard for it in the end, getting over and getting the win though. But looking through at the upcoming games as well for these two sides, Bulls will be playing Glasgow. That is going to be on next Sunday. That should be a very entertaining contest. Now, I believe we are going to be covering that one on the channel. Well, sorry, not next Sunday, the Sunday after, because next Sunday we are going to get to see the Champions Cup and Challenge Cup semi-finals. That is when you will see the Sharks back in action. That is also when you will get to see Leinster go head-to-head up against the Northampton Saints. That's going to be an epic game. Harlequins taking on the Toulouse side. We are going to be covering those games on the channel as well as the Singapore Sevens. But in 2 weeks' time, Leinster back into it up against the Ospreys, and the Bulls have a big challenge up against Glasgow. But the benefit is they are once again going to be playing at Loftus. Busy day at the office again, Hamish says Arthur. It is indeed. We are up to our 4th live stream of the day, and we still have 2 more to go back to back after this one. The next live stream starts in about an hour and 5 minutes, somewhere around there. Good game, Bulls, 5 key players injured, says Outlaw. So who are the players that you would say are the keys that they're missing, Outlaw, of that 5 key players list? How much do the points have on the log, or how much do the points have on the log now? How much do the points have on the log now? As in like a very, very updated table. If I go to the updated one from the games that we saw just before, like the Ospreys, the Glasgow Warriors are about to beat Zebre, but that game is not quite ended yet. So the Bulls at the moment on the table, they sit on 46. If they win this game as they are sitting now, they will end up moving up to 51, which will put them into 3rd above Munster. And then that game between Lions and Munster will determine if they promote themselves up that little bit further. A halftime at the moment between these two sides. Looking at some of the stats already, 4 tries coming for the Bulls, so they are sitting in the place of a winning bonus point. Possession is 50-50 in this game. Clean break 7 for the Bulls compared to the 3 of the Ospreys. 4 defenders beaten compared to the 3 of the Ospreys, and then a lot more offloads coming for the Bulls, keeping that ball alive, trying to really tire out this Ospreys team. 94% tackle completion for both of these teams, so not too many of these ones have been missed in terms of the tackle numbers. Definitely the most prolific rugby commentary Kiwi Lads says Arthur there, and Go the Bulls says Zano in there as well. 6 penalties against the Bulls throughout that first half, I should mention, and 5 against the Ospreys. So both that little bit ill-disciplined at times. It's mainly for around the breakdown. I feel like this game so far we are seeing it policed a little bit more in the breakdown than some of the other contests, which means second half you just got to adjust that little bit, work out exactly what you have to do to not give away those penalties. But looking through at their benches, for the Bulls it is Akafana Merva, Martin Zima, Mornay Smith, Swanepoel, Kirsten. They've only gone with a 5-3 split in this game for the Bulls, as they have got Zach Berger, Vindervolt, and also Devon Williams as the back replacements. Then for the Ospreys, also opting for the 5-3 split, Dewey Lake, Smith, and also Warren. Then they have got Ratty and Deves with Morgan Williams at number 21, Williams at 22, and Boshoff there at 23. Now, Morgan Williams in that last game for the Ospreys I thought was very strong in the starting lineup. They opted to go with Luke Davis as the starting choice in this matchup. They are just showing there Jack Walsh. The ones that he missed touch with certainly did hurt the Ospreys, mainly because you get to see the counter-attack and play that came from the Bulls with those missed touch finders. But second half, very close to taking place. Nokia, Kotsia, Hans Van Staden, Hussein suspended, says Outlaw, and there as well. But that's the thing, like the Bulls seem to have some very good options in that loose forward trio, because you talk about the fact that they don't have Marcel Kutsia and they don't have Van Staden, yet they still have Honeycomb, Lowe, and Nassim Ka, who make their way onto the field and still bring like a really good, solid impact into a game. Maybe they don't have that turnover ability, though, of a Van Staden. Maybe they don't have that same level of grit as you see from Marcel Kutsia. Yeah, the replacements for them. I think the biggest one that they're missing is probably Nokia. Then saying that, Renier Ludwig, he had that massive run earlier on in the matchup. So I like the look of the Bulls' depth at the moment, with the fact that even the players who are coming in to replace those keys are still having relatively decent performances throughout the games that they are playing. But the next game, like I mentioned, it is going to be the matchup between the Lions and Munster. It's going to be a good game because both sides have a lot to gain on the overall table if they are able to get themselves the win. And then alongside that, the game after that one will be the Stormers taking on Leinster. And that is another close to watch game. I want to see exactly who is going to be getting themselves those points available, because they could be extremely crucial ones just around the corner. Depending on how long this halftime break is, depends on how long we get in between those next two live streams. We are starting in exactly 1 hour's time. So we will either get a 5-minute break to refill the drink bottle, or we will get a no-minute break, and we are straight back in to that next matchup between Munster and the Lions. And then straight after that one, Stormers are going to be taking on the Bulls, although there's the Leinster side, although there's a bit more of a gap, I believe, for that one. I think it is at 5:05 a.m. So there may be a 10-minute break in between those two contests. But anyone who hasn't already, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to get yourself a nice drink of water or a drink of some sort, maybe some snacks, because she's a big day of the URC taking place today. And next week, of course, we get that break, but the week after, it's pretty much no different. It's going to be flat out game after game. Early on Sunday or early on Saturday, it's going to be the match between the Dragons and the Stormers. That is in 13 days' time. Bulls versus Glasgow, Sharks versus Benetton, who are a bit of a dark horse at the moment in the URC competition. We need to mention, like, they sit in 5th, and they have consistently been able to stay within that top 8 throughout the competition. And I feel like, who knows, maybe I want to say they'll do enough to get through to the next stage of the competition, but it's just so hard to tell. With so many competitive sides, every game is absolutely crucial. And the Sharks going head-to-head with Benetton, perhaps they can do maybe the Lions or the Stormers a bit of a solid and help boost them up that little bit more above Benetton. Lions will play Cardiff, and then also Leinster versus Ospreys will be that game. Like I mentioned, that Leinster will be in action next. But we are running low on weeks remaining. We have got that next round, the round after, and then the round after that. Then it is into the quarterfinals that are taking place on the 8th of June is the first one. Kirsten is back, and Cobus Visa is coming in June, not bad. Says Outlaw, and also the Bulls 50 plus win by 30. Says Arthur Harrison in there as well. $50 plus is a big prediction, Arthur. But the thing is, they scored more than half of those points in the first half, didn't they? So you would think that if they can continue that trend, they would actually be able to do that, get their 50 points. I'm sure they'll be more than happy with that. They've already got the bonus points, so now it's more about increasing that points differential, which is already looking very strong for the Bulls in the competition. They actually have the third best points differential in the overall competition, but I should mention, points differential is only good when it comes to facing up against a side that has the same amount of wins as yourself. The first thing that they back in terms of the order, of course, is points. The second is then based off how many wins you have under your belt. And then the third is points differential. All right, I'm off to bed. And now have a great rest of your stream, Sammy, and good night to everyone. Have a great day/night. See you as bad to play, so we will see you later on, mate. It was great to have you here once again. Next live stream we'll probably see you on will be the under-20s competition that has taken place just around the corner, the under-20s Rugby Championship. Opening game, New Zealand versus South Africa. That is going to be a massive game, ladies and gents. That is kicking off at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning for you guys in South Africa. I highly recommend checking out the under-20s action. Going to be covering it on the channel, and we are going to be absolutely loving it. Watching the Rugby Championship, I should say, taking place. It is only a 4-week competition, or in fact 3-week competition. You play everyone once, top of the table, I believe, finishes in first place. Bulls is halfway there, according to my 30 plus points plus prediction, says Monet Lagrange. Currently have got themselves a lead of 16 points in this matchup. Looking to double it here, but we are just seeing there, in terms of the table, yeah, team with the most competition points wins for that Rugby Championship under 20. So the first round we are going to see New Zealand versus South Africa, as well as Australia versus Argentina. Then on the next round, it is going to be New Zealand, Argentina, South Africa versus Australia, and then South Africa play Argentina in the final round. And then that, that's going to be on the Sunday, 12th of May. So that is when the URC is back, ladies and gents. But we're still going to be covering both of them. The countdown for the second half is on, and we are now back underway in this contest. The Ospreys going to be kicking off from right to left, forcing the Bulls into their 22. Good run forth from Cameron Honeycomb. It's about 10 metres outside of that 22-metre line. It's exactly what the Bulls would have been after losing to Munster to finish the Bulls. They'll win nothing this year, says James Evan. I mean, it certainly didn't help their confidence, but they're winning this game 26 points to 10 at the moment, so they have to be slightly happy with that, the way that they've been able to fire back and have a bonus point sitting at half-time in this contest. Nagy, dragged down by Ludwig. On the halfway line, almost straight through. He looked for the offload there. Kieran Williams, but he throws it straight into the hands of Gerhard Stennekamp, which is certainly not who he wanted to find. Now, Willie LaRue, wide cut out pass there. To Harold Foster, goes on the inside. Beautiful sell the dummy, gets his grubber away, and it's cleaned up at the back there for Luke Morgan. Right place, right time, but it was almost an early strike in the second half for the VODACOM Bulls. Fantastic work from Willie LaRue to pass it out wide to Harold Foster. That was where the danger started for the VODACOM Bulls attack. Like they've just said, maybe the wrong option to go for that grubber in behind rather than going for the other option, in which case would have been the pass, and it could have easily found the hands of one of his teammates. But Jack Walsh now will be going for the grubber. Kicks it downfield, nicely taken by Cameron Honeycomb. Trying to bust his way through that defensive line, and Bruce Papier pops it up to Wilco Lowe. Now Chris Smith. I think Wilco Lowe was tackled by Tuparik, and he decided he'd sit on him afterwards when he wouldn't let go. Grab it in mind. Kane Moody chasing this one, and he's got another try. Maybe they'll just check this quickly to see if he was onside, but I believe it was fine for Kane Moody, who scored for the Bulls. Well, Kane Moody has just got himself his second. If this one is a try, then also alongside that, we've seen the tries of Johan Rubela. We also saw Kutley Aronsa. That's only 4, isn't it? Then there might have been one for Ambros Papier as well. But great work. Kane Moody. Ooh. I think he scored it. Looks like he did. I think. But that is going to be the 5th try of the match now for the VODACOM Bulls. And Kane Moody needs to stay at the wing. I agree. I said it last week. I said that it feels like he's a little bit wasted at 13 in certain games. I said that they should move him to the wing, and luckily they did, and now it's just showing how dangerous he can be when he's out there on the wing. Not only does he offer you that chase of the kick, he's quite a tall individual, so he can get up and get that ball back, but then also that pace down the wing and open space shows how dangerous he can be. But Chris Smith, fantastic kick again from the touchline, going to make the score now 33 points to 10 in favour of the VODACOM Bulls in this game. Unless something drastic happens soon, I think that we're going to see this one almost done and dusted. Was a good finish from Kane Moody. Once again, though, fantastic work from David Creel. And that's the thing. When you have Kane Moody at 13, you either put David Creel out on the wing, and he is actually better at 13. So you're in the scenario of you've got 2 guys you're playing slightly out of position, when you could just swap them and have them playing in perfect position anyway. And James, good evening, kia ora, my brother. Just saying g'day from Brisbane. And what a win for the Blues tonight. Auckland for life, says James Martin. Tell you what, they needed that win. And they would have been gutted if they didn't get the win when the Hurricanes also had lost. Like, that could have been brutal for them. But now they get themselves still in second place on the table, but they're a lot closer to that Hurricanes side. And Moody is booking his place in the Bok team, says Stefan. We kicked him behind there. Not quite taken cleanly by the Ospreys, but it is cleaned up now by Nagy. He's going to move up to the halfway line. Boy, the Ospreys offload up to Tuparik. Wanted the offload. Does end up getting the ball knocked out of his hands, and it's back in the hands of Willie LaRue and the Bulls now. Little flick in the back door. Goes to David Creel. He's broken through. Another try assist. That is about his 3rd in this contest. This time it's Ambros Papier. David Creel at 13 is just too good. How many line breaks has that man had individually throughout this match at this point? Oh, hang on. Are they checking something? They want to check for a trip, I think I just heard them say. Just straight through. Brilliant offload from Willie LaRue, though. Pace from David Creel. Is this man showing us exactly why he should be in the Springbok squad? David Creel? James Evan, anything can happen. Chris Smith kicked better than Husson. Says Outlaw. He's got about a 91% kicking accuracy throughout his URC career, I believe. Chris Smith. Which is a lot higher than a lot of players around the rugby world. Hitting 4 from 5 today at the moment. 46 minutes in, and the Bulls have started the second half like a house on fire. They already have added 14 points to their total. They went from leading at halftime by 16 to now leading by 30. And the kick is good. Making it 40 points to 10 now between these two sides. But great work from Chris Smith. The crowd are loving it. And yes, the Bulls says BTV Ireland is 0. Scotland is 5 and Ireland is 7 and Wales is 0 in the 2 island games that are on at the moment. Says Richard there. Oh, so Ireland are winning. Wait, Wales is nil. Wait, Ireland is 7 versus Wales nil in the rugby league, Richard. I thought that they went up in 6s for the rugby league, unless they got like a drop kick or something somewhere along the line, or a penalty maybe. How's it, brother Hamish? Says BTV, welcome in, mate. Keeping well. Hope you are as well. Ross Papier from outside of the 22 does boot this one up high. Not taken cleanly by Kutli Arinsa. As said, now the Ospreys have been able to claim this one just on the halfway line. Davis goes back across to Walsh if they want any chance of coming back here. The Ospreys, they will need a lot of tries and they'll need them in a hurry. But they also need to stop the Bulls from being able to score. And more than likely that would be on a counter-attack that they are able to do so. Currently sitting 2 minutes in. Penalty going against number 6 for being off his feet. So that is against Nassim Carr. That is the second time he's been penalised. And a breakdown. The Bulls on fire. So here's Outlaw there. While sitting at the airport watching the game flying to Johannesburg. So here's BTV. What is in Johannesburg for you, Birdie? Going to the rugby? Maybe? Is there rugby in Johannesburg at the moment? Probably not. Probably more likely family of some sort, maybe, or a holiday. Kutli Arinsa from inside of the 22 kicks it downfield, so it will be advantage over from the knock-on of the Ospreys. My mum, she's not well. Sorry to hear that, Birdie. Hopefully she does get better. That's an Ospreys try now. I managed to get through Kieran Williams, but yeah, not my condolences. That's the wrong one. What do you say? I hope she gets better. I don't know what the actual word that you say is, though. It's not condolences, is it? I don't know. I feel like there's a word, though, isn't there? Hamish Skin, the Black Cats with the B side. Win the series by winning today 3-1. I mean, even if they don't win the series, even if it's 2-2, I think that they'd be still more than happy. But the fact that they're in a position that they best wishes, that's the one. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word, Bertie, but best wishes to her. Oh, under a minute is the call there from the referee. Commiserations. No, not condolences. She's still alive. Love says BV. Yeah, I knew that condolences was the wrong word. I knew that that was for normally the other one, but commiserations. Is it commiserations? Or is that also for the other side of things? Now lining up this kick, Jack Walsh. And ready. Using plenty of time on the clock, and I think that is just to give his forwards a bit of a spell. That kick has also gone over. Spelling, ugh. And condolences is a negative word used for passing. Yeah, that's why we didn't want to use it. That kicked him behind. Just originally, a kick downfield that led to really nothing for the Bulls other than just giving the ball into the hands of the Ospreys to be able to go for that counter-attack. So the score now sits 40 points to 17. They actually gave the try to the wrong team on the scoreboard. Nicely taken here and running it back once more. It's going to be the number 12. Kieran Williams. Firing it back across. Still inside of their 22, so it has been taken back. No look pass. No one knew it was coming, though, because he did the no look pass. Even his teammates were confused by it. Whereas Isaac, he has gone home, as it is currently 2 a.m., but he was here for the Blues versus Reds live stream. He is actually coming around tomorrow, or this morning. He's going to be here in about 5.5 hours or so, maybe a little bit later than that. And we're going to be, me, him, and George are going to be making breakfast. Just while he's down, because he is going home this afternoon. So yeah, we're going to be having breakfast. I'm going to be running off 0 sleep. A long time ago, I said that the Creel brothers must have more playing time. The other Creel brothers now with the Lions and David Proof. That I was correct in my predictions. He is a good player. Yeah, David Creel, I honestly don't think would look out of place in a 13 bot kit. And I know that's a bold statement, but I much prefer him in the centres than I prefer him out on the wing, and I feel like he offers so much for this Bulls side on attack. We're probably going to see it here again. They've just managed to retain their line out. Well, I think they're asking for a knock on there. Yes, there was. And now it's going to be a scrum feed for the Ospreys again. 23 points down. At the moment, they find themselves. It's going to be a hard one to be able to climb back from in this contest. If they can do it, it would certainly be impressive to get a comeback like that. Like I said, the next game that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gents, will be the one taking place in about 45 minutes' time. And that is going to be the contest between the Lions and Munster. We are jumping straight from this live stream to the next one. Have you played cricket with Isaac and George together in a match? I have not. No, neither of them played cricket. It amazes me, Hamish, how you remember all the players' names of different teams. Good for you, mate. Best con by far, says Louis. Thank you very much, mate. Not stick, please. I'm confused by that last bit of your name, but yeah, it takes a while. And I'll be honest, I mess up a lot of names along the way, but normally I catch on to when I'm calling a player by the wrong name and try and adjust it. It actually looks like if they made that change, yeah, Morgan Williams is actually playing at 21 now for the Ospreys, out on the field to replace Davis. Little grubber behind. Beautiful offload from Kane and Moody. Some quick hands. David Creel just knocking that one on. Ran out of space. It was forward, so the Ospreys are once again going to have themselves a scrum. Yeah, David Creel not having a huge amount of space to be able to work with. That's just fantastic passing from Kane and Moody. And yeah, just a bit too far behind David Creel to be able to regather that one. Would have been close to a forward pass, in fact, if he had caught it with how far behind him. Well, it was behind him, but he was in front, if that makes sense. Crowd looking nervous, including that baby. Although it probably doesn't really know what it's watching at this point. 53 minutes in. So 23 points difference between these two sides. And they're talking about the head fight at the moment that is happening at scrum time. Seems like neither front row are too happy about it. I think it's on this near side, Wilco Lowe, and I think that's Nicky Smith, who recently made his way on. And Moody seems to be disturbing the ball very well, or distributing the ball very well. Yeah, he is on the wing as well. I feel like that is where they should have him from now on in the season. Yes, they've got some classy wingers, but I think David Creel's showing that he should be a 13, and Kane Moody's showing that he should be a winger from this performance. Now, across again, Morgan Williams goes in behind to Giles. He's looking to run it back. His legs weren't working there. I don't know what happened, but he just wasn't able to run it too well at all. Good tackle made on Forster. Okay, they're going back for the original knock-on try from the Bulls. Not quite. They are still sitting on the 40 points here. Sounds like more substitutions are about to be made. Aka van der Merwe makes his way onto the field. That is going to be, of course, for Johan Rubler, who did start the scoring for the Bulls. Still 26 minutes remaining. They're just showing the live standings. The Ospreys would find themselves sitting in 8th place at the end of this game. The Bulls would be sitting on 3rd place with 51 points. Their points differential would be heavily boosted from this kind of performance, moving it up to 153 in their favour, as opposed to the Ospreys, who would be plus 9 at the end of this game on the table. Rosbapi are going to feed this ball in. They're just talking about the fact that if the Ospreys get within 7, they will receive themselves a bonus point of their own. But for now, just doesn't seem hugely likely. And Rosbapi, great acceleration from him. Offloads it to Kurtley Arendse. He's got pace, and he scores the try for the Bulls. Him and Moody are having a field day out on these wings. And try time for the Bulls. Says Birdie V there. Is now going to take them up to 45. And dry ball. Says Alex Gain. Or it might be Hahn, actually, in fact, for the pronunciation. Or Hain. Is it Hain? Do let me know, Alex, how you pronounce that second part. Kurtley Arendse. As soon as they missed that tackle, it was done. From there, Kurtley Arendse running it in every day of the week. And does manage to get that try. And come on, says Alex. Lining up this kick towards the touchline for Chris Smith. has a brilliant kicking accuracy. This one might hurt it a little bit if he isn't able to strike it cleanly. Sitting 5 from 6, and he's normally very good. Sorry, I'm French. I no speak English, says Alex there. Okay, fair enough. 25 minutes remaining now. 20 seconds left. Line up this one, Chris Smith. And he's got it over again. Making the score 47 points to 17. Game over, says Outlaw. Yeah, I don't see the Ospreys coming back from here. Because the fact that it's 30 points, that's still 4 converted tries and something. Like, theoretically, they could even have to score 6 tries if they aren't able to convert, and that's just to tie this game. So, like, the best case for the Ospreys is to almost throw caution to the wind and try and get that extra bonus point. Because at least if they get the bonus point for 4 tries, they will walk away from this game with 1 point. Which will be a lot better than it looks like they could have here. Now, Nagy, nicely taken, goes across to the big man, Morgan Moss. Or Morse, no, Morris, in fact, it was. And South Africa has very versatile players in Valimza, Moody, and Williams. Oh, Valimza, I think that, oh no, Valimza, is that Devon Williams you are talking? Stefan there? Or a different Williams? Oh, a bit of a mistake there at the back for the Ospreys, but it's back in the hands of Jack Walsh. Now boots it high. Nicely taken by Chris Smith. Gets his offload away to Kutle Arnsa. Rose Papier goes across to Hanekom inside ball the Wilco Low, who almost had a line break of his own. And Rose Papier, short ball up again. Nicely taken by Gerhard Stennekamp. And blue ball pulls Poison. Says Outlaw, this time it's going to be knocked on from Chris Smith. Well gathered. He actually made the tackle on the ground there, Chris Smith. So I believe that will now become a penalty advantage for the Ospreys on the halfway line. Found another offload to Nagy. Grant Williams scrum half. Do I have the... Oh, no. You are right with Grant Williams. Sorry, I got confused. I should have remembered Grant Williams, to be fair, but I was thinking of the bench in this game being Kanan... Oh, sorry, not Kanan. Devon Williams. So I was a little bit confused. That one, but yeah, Grant Williams very handy because he does offer that option of being able to play the halfback or out on the wing. Looks like a couple more changes being made for the Ospreys here now. Ratti onto the field for Sutton. And also Boshoff onto the field for Watkin in this one. Do apologise about the yawn, ladies and gentlemen. It's currently 2:18 a.m. here in New Zealand. Okay, referee at the moment just giving the scrubs a bit of a warning, saying please just stay stable. Keep them up. Now chance again. Able to get this one going. 22 minutes remaining on the clock, like I mentioned. The Ospreys down by 30. 2 tries would give them the bonus point. That is what they want here, minimum. It's going to go down, and the penalty goes the way of the Bulls. On the far side, I think they've just said. Okay, that's against Reece Henry, I believe. And when you will sleep? That's a good question. I know that the plan at the moment is we've got this game that we are currently doing. Then we are doing the Lions versus Munster. Then we are doing Leinster versus the Stormers. And then George and Isaac are coming around and we're going to be having breakfast and probably hanging out till like lunchtime. So probably like lunchtime, somewhere around there. But then we would have been up for about 23, oh no, more than that, 25, 26 hours. But that's normal on a weekend. Munster was lucky last week with that red card, says Outlaw. Though I also mentioned about it on that live stream afterwards as well. Like, yes, the Bulls can consider themselves like a little bit unlucky that a card did impact that game a tad, but also the fact that they dropped the ball, I think it was 15 times throughout that last match, that also heavily impacted the result of that game. There's going to be another penalty advantage in favour of the VODACOM Bulls here. And Bruce Papier going off to the left-hand side. Chris Smith looking to shift it. Villy LaRue tries to little chip him behind, and they'll go back for the penalty advantage again. 4:18 in South Africa, and time for a beer, methinks, says Stefan. And hey guys, while you are here, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel, says Birdie V. Yeah, you hit the man. We are back with 2 more games straight after this one. Next one being Lions versus Munster. Oh, okay, looks like they're going to be taking the quick tap here, the VODACOM Bulls. They're just going to throw Elric Lowe at the line by the looks of it. See how close he can get to the try line. He's taking the tap, goes across to Cameron Hanekom. Great low tackle made, now offloaded to Stenekamp. Huge hit on him to keep him out. Papier back across to Wilco Low again now. Closing in on another possible try. Elric Lowe dragged down and Bruce Papier going to the right hand side. I mean, you can see the frustration on the face of Ruan van Mark, but if he just wastes his patience, he'll see that there was a plan in play from him. Bruce Papier, that's a deliberate knockdown, I believe, from Nagy, and he might be in a little bit of trouble here. I know it sounds like it's just going to be a knock on, but they are checking it upstairs. But yeah, you can see Ruan van Mark was pretty much furious with Bruce Papier for going with 1 or 2 more phases. That's a deliberate knockdown. Yeah, they're going to be checking this one with the TMO, but I believe the result will not be good for 4 white. So that is, no, might be 14 white actually, Luke Morgan. He's a bit unlucky, because if Villy LaRue wasn't there, he possibly would have been able to have half a chance of regathering. But it hits his hand, and then he gets tied up with Villy LaRue. Okay, they're looking at a probable penalty try here. And it's sounding like it's going to be at least a yellow card. They're checking to see whether or not there was any sort of cover coming across, because if there was not, this is going to be a penalty try and a yellow card. You'd have to argue there's a guy there, but he's not really covering per se. Okay. Sounds like they're going to agree that it was probably going to be a try. It's going to be the penalty try to the Bulls. Okay, they've just said they're looking at a penalty try and a yellow card. Oh, and it's actually Max Nagy who has ended up receiving that yellow card. So now 54 points to 17. Bulls trying to make a statement here, of course, in their game up against Northampton Saints. If everyone remembers rightly, the Bulls were defeated in that contest 59 points to 22. In their game prior to that, they won up against Lyon 59 points to 19. I think that the Bulls want to score more than 59 points here and try and really make everyone realise that, yes, they had a bad game over the last couple of weeks, but they're back now and they're ready to fire. And they're up against Glasgow in 2 weeks' time as well in the next competition. Sounds like number 9 and number 8 for the Bulls are going to be taken from the field. Kirsten. Chance here for Kirsten to have a crack-on debut on the field for Cameron Hanekom. Elric Lowe, good run forward. Goes to 22 metres out. That looks good for the Ospreys. In fact, Adam Beard was very close to get him the turnover there for his side. Rolling it back was Nassim Carr. Now Zach Berger waiting for this ball. Does end up putting it high, but it was taken back, so unable to find the touchline with a great take under the high ball. They've just said about Walsh how the way that he takes the high ball is he kind of puts his feet forward. Now, if he ever accidentally connected with a player high, he'd probably end up with a red card. But until he does that, oh, the ref is down at the moment, but he's back up to his feet. He's bounced back up very nicely. Big shot coming in from Ruan Vermaak. Now off to the right-hand side. Ospreys just trying to keep the ball in their hands for a little bit of time. Morgan Williams going back in behind to Walsh. Taken down again. Tuparik unable to join that breakdown. Actually joined it from in front. Now across again. Off. The one who had a crack at the line. Still 40 metres out. Pop pass up again. Morgan Williams seems like he's brought a little bit more speed to the breakdown here. Another pass from Adam Beard, tackled by Gerhard Stennekamp. And better game for the Bulls. Last two games the ball wasn't the team. I know, but if they score 60 plus points, then it will be a statement, says Ruben Stein. Exactly right. Like, I feel like this is one of those games that they've kind of come out and they've said, look, we've seen all of the media and everything talking bad about this Bulls team. 50-22 for the Ospreys. That was fantastically done. And they will now have themselves a line-out. But yeah, like the media's been destroying the Bulls this week and the week prior because they did send that slightly underprepared Bulls side into that game up against the Northampton Saints. And then they were back in South Africa with their strongest lineup, or one of the strongest lineups they could put on the field. And they were defeated by Munster. So people started saying things about Jake White. What is the plan? Is he going to be the man that helps them get to the title? And I feel like this type of performance here for the Bulls is going to be a massive confidence booster, not just for the players, but also for the coach. Because the guys have gone out on the field and they have certainly played a much better game of rugby than we have seen over the last 2 weeks. 15 minutes remaining. The Bulls sitting on 54 compared to the Ospreys, who are sitting on 17. Going to be thrown in over the top. Now going to the right-hand side. A tackle made from Nassim Carr. Zach Berger goes back into the pocket to Chris Smith. And it does manage to find touch with it. It will be just outside of the 22. He's not too happy with it, Chris Smith. Would have liked a few more metres on it. I've just said the Bulls, they are looking for the top 4, whereas the Ospreys are looking for the top 8. They get 2 more tries here for the Ospreys. They will get themselves the bonus point. The truth is you can't win all games. Says Outlaw, exactly right. And we saw it in the Super Rugby competition. The Hurricanes were undefeated, pulling off massive wins over tough opposition. They go up against the Brumbies side that lost by 40 points last week, and they got beaten. Like, sometimes it's just not your day. And sometimes your opposition just has your number. And the hardest thing to do as a rugby side, and I think that the sides are getting better at it, to be fair. One of the hardest things to do, and sometimes as a rugby supporter, is to admit that your side had a bad day and the opposition played the better game than your side. Like, that is something that hurts to say for many fans of certain sides. Which is fair enough because they always want to see the absolute best from their team. And normally that's when you hear, the stuff about the players not quite playing well. But sometimes, you just get outclassed out there on the field. At the end of the day, you've got 80 minutes to get it right. You could have done brilliantly throughout your 1 month of training beforehand, looking at a certain team. And then in the end, something happens and they just get the better of you. That's the beauty of rugby and also the curse of rugby in a certain regard. Chance here for the Ospreys. They are now about to go for the line out. Crowd attendance is 8,387 for this one. Said that those numbers will increase the closer they get to the playoffs. I'm just going to quickly look at Loftus's attendance capacity. Loftus Versfeld capacity holds 51,762. So they've got about I actually was too generous when I said 30 to 40%. That's about maybe 15% full. Do we have 47 or 54? So it's good. At the moment, they are sitting on 54. So the scoreboard sometimes is a little bit slow updating. It's an online scoreboard. And every once in a while, it gets a little bit confused. Now 10 metres out from the line. Of course, that last one was a penalty try awarded, which is why the Ospreys are still playing with only 14 men on the field. They are without their fullback at this current point in time. Around the side of the breakdown again here for the Ospreys. They're 5 metres out from the Bulls line, 54. So here's Pixie Dust. Round the side again. Nikki Smith gets that little bit closer. Now Morgan Williams. Oh, they're getting close here. Kutli Arnsa and off his feet. So that is going to be the penalty advantage. Short ball going off to Morgan Morris. Waiting for this ball to become available is Morgan Williams. A lot of Morgans. That's not Morgan out on the wing. That's Giles, and he scored it. They're going to check it. I think he has got that one, Keelan Giles. And that's better, says Gert. You just wanted to see the half century, didn't you, Gert? You wanted to see 50 plus on the board for the VODACOM Bulls. And fair enough, too, to be fair. Like, they're playing a very good game of rugby, although they may have just conceded. We may have jinxed them a little bit. Okay, possible foot and touch, but they said on-field decision is try. They're just saying whether or not it's a tackle in the ear from Chris Smith, which I guess you could argue that it is. It's in the field of play for now. It's still in. And then he gets it down. Brilliant try for Keelan Giles. What? Says another person. But the grounding is good. The Ospreys will score again. And it's now going to make the score 54 points to 22. So now the Ospreys, they've got an ultimatum. If they score one more try, they get themselves 1 point in this game. Whereas as it currently sits, they get 0. So they've got 12 minutes to throw everything into this. Even if, I know that it's terrible to say, but even if they concede 3 more tries, right, or 2 more tries here, if it means that they get 1, it still benefits them overall for this game. So, they're going to have to take some risk here. Be willing to risk conceding for the sake of being able to score, and it will help them get that little bit more of a boost on the overall table. But that is going to be over from Jack Walsh. Now sitting 54 points to 24 in this matchup. An extremely high scoring game. Already 78 points scored. More than a point a minute throughout this contest. A great finish there from Keelan Giles. 11 minutes remaining. Chris Smith now. We're kicking this one off high and long. The Bulls already get their bonus point for tries. They certainly did. Yep, they've got about maybe 8 tries now in this contest. So, yep, they're more than enough for that extra point. So they will receive 5 points from this game. It's just more of the question of what their points differential will be at the end of it and whether or not they can stop the Ospreys from getting themselves another try. They've been told to use it again here for Morgan Williams. Hooks it around. Does get into touch about 32 metres out from his own line. Just over the 10 minutes left. The Ospreys, they won't be too far away from being back to 15 men on the field, scoring with the 14 men though, of course. Akafana Merva had to throw this one in. We have got there, the Bulls must not slag down at this stage. Points difference may play some role on the position on the locks. There's Alfie Visa pass on the outside from Billy LaRue, throws it straight into touch. Has drifted forward as well. The Ospreys will still have themselves the scrum from inside of the 22. Billy LaRue apologising to his teammates. He's always talking, Billy LaRue, even if something like a knock-on happens, he's always chatting afterwards. And yeah, I'm not too sure what the tactic was there from Billy LaRue, but he slams the ground out of frustration. You've got to be careful doing that. If he ends up breaking his hand or something out of a slight frustration moment, looks like Chris Smith making his way from the field, and Jaco van der Vault will make his way on. Not a great game for Chris Smith. Definitely in the absence of Johan Goosen, who's kicking accurately and also helping set up some very decent tries. I don't know who they're going to give man of the match to, because Moody got 2 tries, Arinsa got 2 tries, David Creel, I think, has been the ringleader in this backline in terms of being able to set up his teammates. So, yeah, it could be quite a hard decision to work out who exactly gets themselves the man of the match. 10 minutes remaining. Now we are going to see another scrum reset here. Front row's just getting told not to fully lock out their legs. And yeah, that is a fair call because he is pretty much like this, I guess, is the angle that he's at, and then those legs just folding out underneath him. Still 9 minutes for the Ospreys. Territory and possession actually both in their favour, 52% in both of those two stats. But unfortunately, the stat that matters is the amount of points on the board that they've got, and they have not got enough. And this one, 24. Some games that you play, that may be enough to win your contest, but when you're playing a South African side, you normally need a few more points than that. It's gone down front row, and that's going to be another penalty. This time to the Ospreys. Mornay Smith, the man who's been penalised for that one, collapsing. It's very close. It's less than a minute for that yellow card, is the comment from the referee. We kicked in a touch. Down towards the halfway line, 45 metres out from their own line now with the line out. Yeah, just the elbows and both front rows collapse there from the pressure of the scrum. Looks like the change now is about to be made for the Ospreys. They're bringing on Williams in the number 22 jersey. And also, the Bulls must not slag down at the stage. Points difference may play some role on the position on the log. It may a little bit, but we've also got to remember that the other thing that they do before points differential is the amount of wins that you've got under your belt. And it's only if you are tied for the amount of wins that determines then your points differential. It's a little bit weird that they do it that way. Like, I can understand why they have done it that way a little bit, but yeah, it does make it confusing compared to some of the other competitions around the world. Of course, points is always number one, and that is what the Bulls want plenty of throughout the next 3 rounds. Their next game in 2 weeks' time up against Glasgow. I'm still trying to find that next gap. We have got the Hamish staying up to comment on the Stormers and Lions games too. We certainly are. It's going to be an all-nighter for myself. That next game is kicking off in only 22 minutes' time. So we're pretty much straight from this live stream, jumping over to the next one and continuing the commentary. I think that Chris Smith has up his general game. That is actually good news. Yeah, he looked very strong throughout this contest, Chris Smith, and maybe that is because the Ospreys didn't quite throw too much back at the Bulls side, but yeah, I still think that he's had a very strong game there. Zach Berger now going across Eldrick Low to David Creel, flicked out the back door. Jaco van der Walt wasn't ready for it. The Ospreys now have got themselves the knock-on advantage. Morgan Williams. Back to the right-hand side here, trying to put it back into the middle of the park. Oh, pass from Kieran Williams. Luke Morgan, that's a rarity for him to touch the ball. I feel for you. But appreciate you doing it, sending you some coffee, says Pixie Dust. And there as well, yeah, it will be. This next one is our 5th live stream of the day. We did the 3 Super Rugby games earlier. Covered this game of the URC, of course. Then we got the 2 more games. We're going to be doing 6 on the trot almost. And yeah, she's going to be a busy little morning after those 2 games. I'll be ending out for breakfast. It should be fun. Hopefully I don't fall asleep at the table. That would be unfortunate if that did happen. But still the bonus point in play for the Bulls. So they would end up with a points differential of 160 here if it sits the way that it currently does. So one more try would actually put them with a better points differential than second place Leinster. That's something to possibly look at. It's a bit of a booster. Of course, Glasgow recently getting themselves the big win over Zebre. That advanced them a bit further ahead of the rest of the opposition. Just showing here, David Creel again. Scored himself a try earlier on. He had the interception which led to the try of Kane and Moody. Then he had the pass that led to the try of Kurtley Arnse. And I think he also had another try that led to a try. Or another pass that led to a try. 3 tries, just like they've said. He's been very strong as a distribution option, but also being able to score tries makes it extremely handy. Every time I see that Kane and Moody one, it looks like it's closer and closer to a knock-on for that try, but did stand in the end. Yeah, he's got to be close to man of the match for the way that he's played in this contest, even with Kurtley Arnse and Kane and Moody as the 2 other options for possible man of the match candidates. 5.5 minutes remaining here. Zach Berger getting ready to feed that ball in. Going off to the right-hand side. Harold Foster, Jaco van der Walt, Villiers LaRue goes for the kick in behind. Looking for some space, but it's nicely claimed there by the Ospreys, number 14, Luke Morgan. Tell you what, that's some good hustle being shown there by number 21, Zach Berger. He felt he was cleaned out illegally, so he got back up to his feet and looked to turn the ball over and almost did. Rolling this one back for Morgan Williams. Still 5 minutes remaining in this matchup. It will be a joke if Leinster lose against the Stormers. How come? Like, the Stormers should win, theoretically. They've gone with the stronger lineup out of the 2 sides. Leinster have left most of their players in Ireland so that they are ready for that game taking place up against the Northampton Saints. So, like, I would be disappointed if the Stormers do not win that game. Because it's one of those ones that it needs to mean a lot to them, because that might be their best chance of staying within the top 8, as if they get a big victory there over Leinster. And the Birds got this one. Says Tony. Now 4 minutes remaining. Short ball to Nicky Smith. Not seeing too many opportunities for contesting in the breakdown for the VODACOM Bulls here. And it almost looks like they aren't actually willing to contest in the breakdown. They'd rather just wait for the Ospreys to make the mistake. Jack Walsh puts the ball on the outside. Nice step there. Ball on the inside to Morgan Williams, who sold the dummy, then gets his offload away. The Arnse, it's called as a tackle, so they do have to release him. Now they're less than 20 metres away. A run from Eric Dees, but it's intercepted by Villiers LaRue, who timed it perfectly. It looks like he's going to have enough legs to be able to score it. And Villiers LaRue scores the try for the Bulls. That one's going to hurt big time, because the Ospreys had finally started putting phases together. They were closing in on the 5 metre line. And then just one pass that Villiers LaRue knew where it was going, and he manages to score the try. He doesn't look happy though. It also looks like he may have injured himself in the process of running the 90 metres or so. They checked. He was onside. So that is now going to make the score 59 points to 24 and more than likely 61. I mentioned about the fact that the Bulls coming into this game, it seemed like they wanted to make a statement of scoring more tries and scoring more points than they conceded in that game up against the Northampton Saints. And with that try and the conversion here from Jaco van der Walt, they will do just that. 2 minutes remaining in Ospreys. They are still in the position of, if they score a try now, they walk away from this game with 1 point, which would definitely be the goal for them. But Villiers LaRue just timing it well. The crowd absolutely loving it as well. And hit that like and sub. See as a bystander. Anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be back, of course, just around the corner with that game between the Lions and Munster. If you do want to hit that subscribe button, it is, of course, very much appreciated. The ball's going to go high. That's going to be a knockback by White. Got the ball back in their hands here, the Ospreys, with 90 seconds to work with. Tipperit goes back on the halfway line. Oh, grubber attempted from Giles. That's the wrong choice there. He's slapped back by White. That one has gone into touch, so it is now going to be the line out, I believe, for the Ospreys. They can't take it quickly. It's been touched by more than one player. So here's the referee. So 1 minute remaining. The Ospreys are going to have themselves the line out. 43 metres out. And no more subs. Here's the referee as well. They are going with a 4-man line out. David Creel, man of the match, had to be. He was very good throughout this matchup. 3 try assists, try for himself, a lot of running meters, and a lot of impact coming from that man at 13. Another advantage going this time against Kirsten, man who recently made his way onto the field. Nice stepping there from Giles, but he's shut down by Mornay Smith. Still playing under penalty advantage. Now pop pass up. Moving to the halfway line. And I'll chip him behind. Jack Walsh chasing after it. It's cleaned up by Swanepoel. And they'll go back for the penalty again. And there is the siren sounding. Next game that we are doing, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be in 9 minutes' time. But first of all, we get to see one last Ospreys attack and see whether or not they can get themselves the try here. And this would give them 1 point rather than the 0 like I mentioned. Still a lot on the line for this side. The last ditch chance. Taking some deep breaths to line up this kick, and he's kicked it dead. So that'll be the end of the game, and that is going to be 61 points to 24. Massive mistake there from the Ospreys 10, Jack Walsh, kicking it a little bit too close to the corner. Oh no, in fact it's not Jack Walsh. Unfortunately, that was Owen Williams who made that mistake. And get some water for the next one, Hamish. And they're from Gussie. The next game just around the corner, of course, Lions versus Munster. We will quickly go and refill the water bottle, and then we will be back straight away in about 8 minutes' time for that next matchup that has taken place. That will be, like I said, between the Lions and Munster. So be sure to keep an eye out for that one. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Big game for the Bulls, getting a massive win, and they'll look to build on that as they move towards the playoff games. But thank you all very much for being here, and we'll see you all for the next one.